Right, and we're back with some more MGS2 VE PC racing, where we're now going to be spectating gogobmn as the 5th seed versus Tyler2022 as the 4th seed, which the outcome of this match is going to determine who will be facing D-Limes in the following round. And I am honored to be joined by not only my next competitor in this tournament after this race, but also a really good runner is a Platonic Guy.
Yep.
How you
Hi,
doing,
everyone.
man?
Doing great. How do you feel about this race?
You know, I'm really not sure. I mean, I was just kind of saying this before we just went live, is that, Tyler works well under pressure. I know he knows what he's doing, and I think BMN, I think, is also equipped with the same tools and knowledge, but I don't know. This is gonna be a tight one, but it looks like they're both ready to go, and they just started off.
Yeah.
And so we're now just kind of getting started with the tanker once again.
Yeah, if you go by their PBs, BMN has a better PB, but Tyler hasn't run this outside of this tournament since like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so I'm
Um,
kind of just pulling up the numbers here. So, like, the latest on the speedrun.com leaderboards for this category is BMN leading with a 103.40, which he recently got just only a few days ago with Tyler at a 103.48, which is a little over a year. Which, like Platonic said, I mean, Tyler's not new when it comes to running this game or just speed running. But I think he was not really absent from VE, but perhaps just pursuing other categories at the time. But I think given the determination and the pressure, I mean, Tyler can definitely rise to the
ooh,
occasion.
Tyler lost some time there, got a roll into the wall and then shot by the guard. So BMN has a slight lead.
Yeah, because one of the... Ooh, oh, right on the stairs. Actually, I think I might be delayed, so I'm going to have to refresh my restreamer. But yeah, so
BMN
movement
both left
is...
side.
Let's see. So did they
Oh,
both have a left?
they both got left side. BMN goes for a body shot. Tyler
see.
headshot. No loop for BMN.
Oh, no
No
loop
loop
for
for
Tyler
Tyler.
either. So
So
this
it's
is...
basically the same.
Yeah, this is not really that far apart. All right, so BMN did not get the follow-up, which Tyler did. So I
I
think
think
BMN's going to have to squeeze in another shot.
these are both 5-shot Olgas.
Oh, man, just ever so slight.
Yep,
Okay, so, yeah, so they're only, what would you say, maybe like a few seconds apart?
probably. Tyler got that back because BMN missed a few shots there.
Yeah, so I guess for people watching, like, what kind of an Olga outcome would most people want here versus a left or right side spawn or something in between?
All right, so I did the math, I think, a couple of weeks ago. There are 3 variations of left side Olga that are the fastest, but they're very risky because you need to shoot her before she goes into her position where she can loop. And if you shoot her then, there's a good chance she won't loop at all, which ends up being one of the slowest Olgas. So in a race or just in a regular run, the most consistent one is right side Olga, by far.
Yeah, and not only that, but I just feel like it's easier to do. I mean, because you can
Yeah,
just auto aim both shots, let her talk for a bit, and then just squeeze in another couple headshots, and that's it. Versus trying to attain a loop, which is good if you get it, but that's a big if. So I guess now they're both making their way down to the engine room. Now, I think both of them know the fast strat. I definitely know Tyler does, and I think BMN is probably going to go for it as well. So what they're going to do is drop down
yep.
to the second level, which is going to trigger this guard to steal while carefully aiming at the radio. And BMN is actually playing it safe.
No, BMN's doing, yeah, he's doing a different variation of it. I think this one is like slightly faster. I remember him messing around with it, but I've never timed it myself. It's essentially the same loop where you're gonna wait for the assault team units. But look, his looks different. Yeah, see, I don't know if he timed it correctly.
Yeah, see, I think he's gonna have to.
There you go. He did it.
Wow, actually, that was pretty slick. I mean, a little bit tight, but no, he blew up the ship. Oh, dude,
no.
that is so unfortunate. Yeah, so he missed the sensor and hit the Semtex, but I think he can spawn in this room, so it is.
But he gets the cutscene as well.
It is a quick reset, but oh my goodness, that is unfortunate. That is going to give Tyler a pretty substantial lead going into guard rush.
Yeah, like Tyler had a couple of seconds. He was a couple of seconds ahead going into engine room. BM and Strat put him almost level.
Mm-hmm.
So if he didn't blow up the ship, like they would be neck and neck now.
Yeah,
And Tyler got an
yeah.
alert. Oh no, okay, he took out the guard. That's fine.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to handle deck two, and then there's actually one way which actually you showed me this, which was
I
I
know.
think it was originally from what was it, Azu?
Azu originally found it out for European Extreme, and it's more relevant there because you have to do the buffer for the second guard. But on VE, like it kind of helps with a third guard if you're struggling with him. It's probably just frames apart, so it doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
matter. But I think just me and you are the only ones who go for it.
Yeah, sometimes if you want to go crazy, that's how. But yeah, Tyler is now just wrapping up his guard rush with BMN now just starting his. Let's see. So I think he got the guard in the back, which is good. Followed by the third, and then finishing up with the last three, and then Tyler doing his ladder glitch, which he successfully did. Let's see. I think he's going to go for the trank shot, which is oh,
Oh,
and he
that's
goes in between. Okay,
that's really risky, but
that is definitely risky to do.
and he
You
got a
know,
43. So
yeah.
there you go.
So I think what
That's
he might do is I think he's gonna do the stick up. Yeah,
yeah.
so he's gonna play it safe with the stick up. So I think he went risky for hold one, but he's gonna play it safe on two. And BMN is just gonna opt for the stick up and run through.
He's gonna
And I
go for
think
two
Tyler's
spots.
gonna go for the two spot camera, which for those that don't know, that there's a few different ways to get all four pictures for Ray. You could either do it in 4 locations, 3 locations, or 2 if you really want to be optimal. But 2 requires a lot of precision. There's very little margin of error that's acceptable. And I think BMN is going to opt to do the same because I think they realize where they're at right now with after the unfortunate bomb explosion. So
Yeah,
I
and Tyler
think,
got a 621 going out of tanker um, on the IGT screen. Like that's a
hmm
really good time. Like
yeah,
ideally you want a 620 or even a 619. That's really good.
yeah, and I think BMN got what was it, like a 618? I didn't quite
I,
see
I
it.
think I think it was either an 18 or 19.
Yeah. So I mean, he had like probably just as good of a hold three as Tyler did, but yeah, like I said, one mistake is really all that it takes to kind of really give somebody a lead or maybe someone else to catch up. But now Tyler is making his way to the he missed the door. Yeah, so you could actually cartwheel into the door to get it to open as you touch it. But if you cartwheel a little bit off on your timing, you will basically go up to it and not really open it. But I believe the backup strat to that is to go prone while trying
Yeah,
to go for it.
I
I mean,
think
there's probably a few different ways. You can either just run up to it normally, you can cartwheel it if you time it right, or I think you could go prone and still touch it, like as you're cartwheeling.
ideally you want to be as low as possible because for some reason the load zone that's where it works. Um, Also BMN state is 420 2069.
All right, so now the question I'm thinking I know the answer to, but I'm just wondering what you think, Platonic. But I think BMN's going to go for the M9 pickup.
I mean, it makes
Which
no
is
difference, so maybe.
I mean, because like it was something he just started doing recently in a race that you and I were in with the I think it was the 4 or 5 man where BMN
Yeah,
just decided, hey guys, guess what? I'm gonna go run back and get this M9, which
there
yeah,
he
that's
went
what he's
for.
doing. So
And
apparently, for whatever reason, if you go back and get the M9 while you're waiting for the elevator, you don't really risk losing that much time.
yep.
Oh
Oh,
no! Okay, that will definitely lose some time.
I think he
So
can
I'm
still
actually
make it. I think
Yeah,
he can
I
still make
think
it.
I think he'll make it as long as he doesn't get kicked by that guard. And
Yeah,
all right, so
just
yeah,
plenty.
so there's the elevator. So I think he got lucky on that one, and I think he's probably regretting not not trying to cartwheel up those steps like that. But yeah, that was something I didn't know he could do. I didn't think there was enough time, but apparently
That's
there is.
that's only useful if you're going for non-lethal Fatman, because the way the route works, when you get to Fatman, you have 6 M9 bullets, and you need 5 minimum for non-lethal, which means you can only miss one shot. So it's really useful to have those extra 15 bullets for non-lethal fat map. But if you're going for lethal, it doesn't really matter. It's just swag at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if you can fit in those swag points when you can, doesn't jeopardize your run, I say just do it.
Yeah. And you saw BM and cartwheeled into the stairs and still made it out with plenty of time.
Yeah, I was actually worried that he was gonna miss the elevator because of that, but apparently he's got even enough time, even with one little hiccup.
Okay, I'm
But
interested to see who's doing menu trick now. I saw them both unequip the M9 going into strike B.
yeah, so I guess kind of explain like how that menu trick works, or like what even is it?
All right, so since we're playing on previous, when we end the tanker, we have USB on our hand and M9 on our previous. When you pick up the M9 and plant, the game still remembers that M9 is on your previous, so you can just tap R2 to equip it. But if you tap R2 again to unequip before meeting Pliskin, the game somehow thinks that you have the M9 on your hand and your previous simultaneously. So when you come out of Stillman, you can just tap R2 once and you instantly equip the M9. It saves one menu and it's really easy to do. It's like a 0.5 time save, maybe less.
You know, and I guess when it comes to a category that's as heavily optimized as this, I mean, every little bit counts.
I don't think Tyler got it. I think he might have tapped R2 after. Yeah, he didn't get it.
Yeah, so he had to do the extra menu, but I think
His menus were
BMN
fast
got
enough.
it.
His menus are fast enough that it's only frames now.
Yeah, so I think it's like if you're as quick as him, it's probably maybe what like 0.2 for every menu you got to do. Like if
Something
if
like
you're
that.
really quick about it. I mean, my
Yeah.
menus are pretty questionable at times, so I don't even want to put out a number. I mean,
I
it's not
mean,
going to be pleasant, but so yeah, so I think BMN got his. A little bit of
oh,
a stuck on the coolant, but he did get the menu trick, so that will save him an extra menu.
yeah, I mean, the less menus you have to do, the better. Just focus on movement, not focusing on other things.
Yeah, because it's like it comes down to like what cartwheels you do, when you do them, which that's a bad habit of mine. I think I tend to do too many cartwheels, partially for swag and maybe some just out of, I don't know, pure bad habit.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just, when to menu, when to encounter a guard, when you make a turn, how you make a turn. It's like all these little things that
Oh,
you
that's
wouldn't
fine.
expect to be a game changer, and it really does add up. And oh, so yeah, it's spotted at the stairs, and I think it was because of the cartwheel going up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think if you cartwheel slightly to the left, that upper guard can spot you, and you get
Oh,
this mini cutscene. So it's
oh, so it
slightly
probably
slow.
puts you like in range to get spotted there. So I
Yeah.
don't think BMN's gonna go for that. I think he says he doesn't prefer to cartwheel there.
I mean, when I did my runs, I was doing it, and then 2 runs I did not do it, and I golded both. So I think it's actually slower to cartwheel up those stairs because you get stuck on those guards on the guard there.
I was actually gonna ask you if you did the number crunch behind that because I remember you telling me like, yeah, I mean, you used to cartwheel all the time. Then you realize, hey, numbers don't lie, and it's telling me don't do it.
Yeah, and another thing there, if you notice, going down those stairs on Strut E, Tyler did 2 cartwheels. Usually, a lot of us just do 1 cartwheel. BMN recently timed it, and I think 1 cartwheel is like frames faster, but maybe 1 or 2 frames only. So
And
it's
this has gotten
preference,
to a
whichever.
point where it's gotten so like close that it's kind of known as either being part of the 2 cartwheel club versus the 1 cartwheel club. I'm happy to say that I'm part of the 1 cartwheel club.
Yep, I
All
feel
right,
the
so
same way as well.
yeah, so virtual fist bump to Platonic for being part of the 1 cartwheel club. And I think Tyler is happy to be part of the 2 cartwheel club. I mean, it's all about the frames and the memes. But so yeah, so they're now making their way to
Oh, BMN.
ooh, so BMN's going for the mid bridge pickup,
Yeah,
which I'm assuming he's trying to set up a clear straight path afterwards if
BMN
he
likes
picks up
to
the
do
second
that.
one.
I don't know if he does pick up the second one, but I noticed that he does pick up that first one, which is kind of weird. Um,
Yeah, I don't know
there
if
is
that's
a
necessarily a
strat,
time saver up front, but I'm wondering if he's opening that bridge up for later.
probably.
Would be
So
my
I
guess.
was I was working on a strat for this in preparation for the tournament, but it's incredibly risky. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing it. If
And
you pick up
actually,
that
oh,
first
sorry, go
card
ahead.
wheel, yeah, if you pick up that first card, that first Claymore, and then position yourself in a very specific line, hold the M9 out, you can damage cancel the remaining two Claymores, which gives you a straight line across that bridge. And then the two trips that you make coming back towards Fatman and after PSG1 pickup, you save about 0.75 to 1 second. So in theory, actually not even in theory, it's completely faster, but it's so risky because you need a very specific line.
All right, so good coolant rise from both of them for the pump rune, which is, I think if you could agree, but I think it's probably one of the heaviest areas for like efficiency.
Yeah, I'm really bad
Meaning,
at it.
oh, the coolant rising.
No, not the coolant rise, it's just the movement when you're crawling. I tend
Oh
to get a
yeah.
lot of dead zones. I get stuck like on the corners
I've
and
actually
stuff.
been finding some dead zones myself recently, and I'm kind of, on the suspicion that I think my controller's kind of like gradually on its way out. But it is good for the tournament. I was messing around with it this morning because I was a little concerned after yesterday since I did notice the dead zones, but I often try not to let that stuff get to me in the middle of a race because I try to keep my mentality on the task at hand. But I think going forward, I may kind of, I don't know, maybe put the controller on notice if it keeps happening.
Okay,
So now
Tyler's
I'm
going for the
interested.
bomb first.
Yeah, so I guess the whole idea is that you skip a loading sequence after you leave strut C.
Yeah, so like when you go out of strut C, like Raiden pauses for like a second or so, and then you get the codec. Um, but if you pick up sensor B after completing all the bombs, the game immediately goes into the codec call, and then after that, you immediately gain control of Raiden again.
Yeah, so
So it's
BMN's
about
doing the
point
same
0.7 to
thing.
1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm not surprised because I mean because like when it comes to optimizations, I mean BMN I think is no stranger to this kind of stuff, especially like when somebody figures it out. Like he's usually quick to kind of pick up on it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that
And
was something I really didn't realize. I was like, man, even though you're trading a loading sequence over a farther starting point with the timer, which normally your timer for 400 starts after you leave versus starting it in the pantry closet thing where the sensor B is.
so I think it only applies to clockwise bombs. So whenever we do counterclockwise, so like on the harder difficulties, I don't think it's worth it because you come in from the other side of Strut C, you'd have to defuse the bomb, walk backwards to sensor B, and then walk back down. So I
Well,
think it's only worth it for clockwise bombs.
not only that, but you actually get less time to make it up to the rooftop, which I mean, you could probably do it, but I don't know if you would want to willingly put yourself in that position on something like Extreme or European Extreme timer, which is
Yeah,
what is it, 200? I mean, you only
actually not.
need like 40 if you're starting from outside of C, and then if you want to add another 10 or 15 if you start later,
Yep.
as long as you don't like really horrendously screw up, I mean, you could still make it, but I was actually curious to see if something like that optimization was applicable to Euro, but I really don't know. See, okay, a little bit of a late Kodak answer on BMN, but not too big of a deal. And then Tyler is now just finishing up his bomb. So I think these guys are trying to time it. So it's probably 15 plus just from kind of eyeballing it.
And I think the only difference has been engine room continue for BMN. Everything else has been similar for both players.
Yeah, so I guess coming up is going to be Fortune, which even though it's kind of treated as a scripted fight, can't really fight her, can't shoot her, can't attack her.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting way to kind of optimize it despite the fact that you really can't fight her, and which involves a very carefully placement on the floor with 3 punch buffers. It does a few things. It allows her to destroy the forklift, which is required to actually, end the sequence. For whatever reason, I mean, that forklift has got to go.
Hmm.
All right, so Tyler took a little bit of a hit from the light, so I'm not sure if he's going to still opt to do the fast fortune.
I think he's doing the slower one where we go to the side. That one, I don't know if it's necessarily slower. It's just less consistent. The variance is a
Mm-hmm.
lot larger with this trap,
All right, so I
whereas the new
think
one, the BMN series.
BMN's trying to go for it,
The one
and
thing you need to be careful about this one is if she destroys the first barrel really early, don't go to the second barrel. You need to wait for her to get a second shot. Because if she doesn't get a second shot, she's gonna talk, and that talking sequence adds to the IGT. Like it delays the fight even further.
oh my god. Oh man, Fortune is trolling BMN pretty bad. Okay, there you go. It looked like she was gonna strike the barrel, but ended up shooting him instead. So he had to reposition himself. That's the thing about this fight is like, despite the optimizations, is that sometimes Fortune just kind of decides on her own. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna mess with you. All right, so I think Tyler hit the mine, going for the chaff. Oh, so that's a few seconds, which is gonna be beneficial to BMN to try to catch back up. I opt to go for the chaff on the BC connecting bridge because I
I've
hate
noticed,
that
yeah,
mine path. Is I do not want to risk my pacing. But
yeah,
BMN, he got the nice pickup. Very impressive. And like I said, it's very scary to do. I mean, just knockdowns, hitting mines. It's like every time it's like a couple seconds. Now, in a PB run when that happens, it's a reset. If you're really going, for like times like Euros Platonic, but for a race like this, it's you gotta kind of grin and bear it, even though probably deep down you're like, man, I wish I didn't hit that mine. So now Tyler's getting the second mine pickup with the coolant rise, so very nice on his end. And I think BMN is gonna go for the same pickup, but he has a straight path forward because of the earlier pickup that he did. All right, so he's got the same pickup, and actually, no way, he took the safe path anyway. Interesting. Oh, maybe there's another mine that was there that maybe he didn't get. Well, anyway, so Tyler's now making his way up to Fatman. I think they're both gonna go for lethal.
yeah. If they went for non-lethal, they should have the M9 equipped already.
I mean,
So
I
I
think
guess,
they know how to do non-lethal, but I don't know if they actually go for it. I think you're probably the only ones that do Platonic, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
know, I know Tyler went for it on his 103. That was a year and a half ago, but he's not going for it now. I don't know if BMN. I don't think BMN does it.
Yeah, I think he kind of traditionally goes for lethal. All right, so
Yeah,
not a bad fight for Tyler. So got Fatman to go in the corner, and so
slow bomb at the
BMN.
end.
Okay, a little bit of a late shot. Fatman also went to the right. So funny enough, I think they kind of ended in the same spot.
Yeah,
Give
but
or
I think
take a shot miss.
BMN got a fight that's 3 seconds faster because he got the fast bomb.
Oh yeah, that's right. So like, there's funny enough, even with disarming these bombs, which was again, I think I didn't know about, was there's like a fast and a slow bomb diffuse, and I don't recall the numbers. I think Limes was mentioning it the other day, but I think one slow bomb is what, like 3 seconds?
I'm not sure of the exact time,
But I
but
thought the fast one was like a second and a quarter if
it's
you
something
actually
like
get it.
that.
I
I
mean,
don't know
on
the
console
exact
it's probably
numbers.
different because of the loads, but on PC it's 1 and a quarter. Okay, so here we got Limes chiming in. So it's 2.5 for a slow bomb on PC, but a second and a quarter for fast. Okay, so at least I had half of it right.
And
And
3 on
3 on
Xbox.
Xbox.
So I think on the Xbox version, there might be other versions as well. I think the Nvidia Shield does it as well. Um, it takes longer for the bombs to diffuse, and I think it's because the game is trying to mimic pressure sensitive buttons
Mm-hmm.
because the Xbox doesn't have it, which is annoying for the run, especially on Euro because I think there's a couple of rooms where the timing is so tight you don't want to be diffusing the bomb slower.
Yeah, so
And
now they're
on
both
something like
making.
VE, where every second counts, it's just even worse.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now they're both making their way into the Shell 1 core, making their way towards B1 to find out where Ames is at. Both making their way into the supply closet to pick up an ever really so conveniently placed AK with a little
Yeah,
note that says, "Here, it's dangerous to go alone in the B1 core. Take this."
I still remember when we found out about this. Like no, no one tested it. VE runners would go to strut F like usual, like on every other difficulty, and then
Okay, a
once
little bit of
someone
a
found out
slow
about
button press on BMN's end, so that's, it's gotta be careful here, because, I mean, they are in the same room together, but these little mistakes can add up. But,
I
yeah,
wonder
I
if
was
BMN's
gonna
gonna go for fast from here, where you
it
card wheel into the
doesn't
guard.
I'm not sure. I think he knows how to do it, but I'm not sure if he will.
He went for the
Actually, no,
second
wait, he
guard.
he is going for it, okay.
You can go for both guards, the one that's next to the team. Oh, he's going for the alert strat. Okay, so now he gets an alert intentionally in a specific spot. You can't use the elevator while it's alert, but um, it ends before the elevator opens after the alert goes away. So you save a little bit of time because you skip the cutscene that's on the elevator. That's sorry, on the staircase.
Oh, yeah, the guy that just likes to, jog around in place.
Yep.
And as you see, they both got the guards on the retinal scanner, and they're unequipping the BDU, and Tyler's got, wow, really good spot.
Yeah,
So he's
that's
got
almost god
northeast.
aims.
I mean, D-Lime's had the absolute god aims earlier. I mean, that was as good
We've
as
had
it
three
gets.
god aims
Yeah,
this
I mean, that
tournament.
was nuts. So BMN's got the young Jenny seed, so he's got the southeast. So that's not as bad, but not quite as good as Tyler's spawn. So he will lose a few seconds trying to catch up to Tyler. But one thing you'll notice is that they both went into the core with the BDU unequipped. And the reasoning for that is that whenever you have the BDU on loading cutscenes and other segments, the game kind of slows down a little bit trying to render it. And for whatever reason, when you unequip it, it just loads faster. On PC, it's small, but it's noticeable.
I think
And I guess oh, sorry, go ahead.
we first found out about it on entering the shell 2, because you usually have your PDU on non very easy difficulties for that for the perimeter, and some
Hmm.
players would go into that room with the shell 2, but sorry, would enter the shell 2 with the PDU on, and it loses, I think, on console like upwards to 10, 20 seconds or
Oh
so.
my god, it's so bad.
Yeah. So
I
we
mean,
just went and applied the same logic here, and it ended up saving time.
yeah, it feels like an eternity, and then when you take it off, and then even if you apply something like, using an SSD digital copy of the game, which is a whole nother story, is that it's even more noticeable when you have it on versus off. But yeah, so they're both acquiring the PSG1, which is required for the remaining portions of the game, which is going to be first followed up with the Shell 1-2 connecting bridge sequence, and then it'll be used later again for the sniping section as well as another vamp fight. But I think it's going to come down to Harrier again, which is usually the case. I think they're both capable of 5+1s. They both know how to do it. It's just a matter of who gets it at this point.
And Tyler's also consistent with swim glitch, so that's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if BMN. I'm sure he knows how to do it, but I don't think I've ever seen him do it in a run.
I think I would want to say, and I don't want to maybe try to step on anybody's toes, but I think he's kind of in the same position as D-Lames might be, where I think they know how to do it, but I think they just prefer not to do it whenever possible. I mean, maybe it's just a preference thing, a confidence level, or maybe it's just, something that has to be justified with the pacing or whatever the other person's up to. But I think Tyler, he knows how to do it. I think he will use it if he just either wants to or needs to. But I don't know. I mean, it's gonna really depend on what happens here. And as Tyler kind of makes his way first into the Harrier, we're gonna see if he's gonna be able to get the ideal Harrier, which is gonna be 5 hits at the start, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with a high damage roll, which is good. And then he's gonna get the +1, which is skipping a cutscene where Snake's like, Brian, catch this. Followed by the 2 die shots, which is a carefully timed cutscene skip as you see the missile pods drop, and I think he's got it.
Okay,
And
BMN got the same thing. Five shots. He's going for plus
plus
one.
one.
So BMN is going to come out slightly faster because he dropped down, which gives you optimal menus coming out of this fight. Whereas Tyler stayed up.
Wow, look at that. I think they both got a perfect Harrier.
Yep, five
Wow,
plus
dude,
one perfect for both.
this race is back on again. Yeah, it's just, that this because Harrier is usually one of the big dividers, like I was just saying in the other race, is that, one slip up is, 10 plus seconds, depending on what it is. And we've seen some runs where, Harriers went well, some that maybe missed a shot or two, and they add up quickly.
Yeah, and the
But
thing about 5+1 is even if you get 5+1 and the two die shots, but it's low damage, you're losing 13 seconds.
mhm. And I guess to kind of explain like what we mean by high versus low roll damage is that the hitboxes on the Harrier are a little bit peculiar when it comes to how the Stinger kind of splashes when it explodes. Is that if you get a good damage roll, meaning the Stinger missile hits two hitboxes together, regardless of what they are, you'll see like you do much more damage than normal for that one shot, which does make a big difference. But if you get like a standard shot, which is basically hitting only one of the four hitboxes on the Harrier, then it's going to require three shots to finish rather than just the two die shots that you just seen from both of these guys.
So if you noticed while they were on the perimeter, um, if you go against a wall and you mash the weapon button with like a single-handed weapon in your hand, or even like an AK or something, um, usually we thought you would move faster and it looks like you're moving faster, but BMN recently tested it out and he believes it makes no difference. Tyler did it, but BMN didn't. It's still unsure if it's like any faster or not, but BMN believes it doesn't make any difference at all.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where, it's kind of similar to like the whole M9 meme thing. It's like, you both get similar outcomes. Maybe it's by a thin margin.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe there is something to that. I mean, I think it looks really cool. I mean, you got that swag going on, right? But I don't know. Maybe there is something to it.
And the
But
funny thing about this Nikita is that even though it's on the like towards the floor, its hitbox extends really high up. So you don't actually have to move up and down. If you just use the D-pad and move left and right, you'll always get it.
all right, so BMN's going for just a normal turnaround, while Tyler did a 180 flip, which is done carefully either with the D-pad or probably the right analog stick, depending on what his setup is. And the 180
Fast.
flip just, just speeds it up a little bit. But I
So
guess if you're not
BMN,
confident with the flip, you could just swim around normally.
so BMN got a fast elevator there, so he's gonna make up. I was gonna say he's gonna make up some time, but I don't think he had good menus there.
Yeah, then Nikita was a little bit late, and Tyler's now just getting into the room with President Johnson. But I don't know. I mean, so now the question is, will Tyler think about doing the swim glitch? And honestly, kind of like the last race before, I don't think there's enough slack to want to go for it. I mean, I know he's skillful. I know Tyler knows how to do it, but I just don't know if there's enough cushion with, your competitor almost right behind you to want to risk it.
Well, the thing is, if the other person's really close to it, you might want to risk it and go for that. Like, go take the risk and extend your lead even further, just in
Hmm.
case you do get some mess ups afterwards.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting because I know that he's capable, and even if he gets something as maybe like a 3 cycle swim glitch, that would still put him in a good spot, at least up front, with the time loss after having to open the hatch later. But I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. I think if he's got his eye on this ridge, which I'm sure that he does, is I think he might go for it, but I think logic might tell him don't do it.
Hmm. I think he did do it in his earlier race, didn't he?
I think he did. I don't know if he did that just to make a statement or just, I
He's
don't know,
not.
for practice. Yeah, he's not gonna do it. I think he realizes and honestly, I don't blame him because I think he knows that even if he does do it, he has to execute it really well to really make it matter.
I wonder if BMN's
But
just
now
gonna strike it.
BMN now has the chance if he wants to maybe try to maybe catch up on Tyler, and he's also gonna play it safe. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Honestly, I think it's probably the right decision for both of them. But I mean, if I was in BMN shoes, I would probably consider doing it, knowing if I had a shot just to maybe catch up to Vamp. But yeah, this is gonna be pretty tight of a race. You
And
know, I
that's
mean,
good to know considering I'm playing you next.
I don't know, man. We both have our quirks when it comes to running. I mean, you got your ladderless glitch on the tanker, and I have the I don't know, do some stupid stuff, but somehow it works.
It's gonna be tight. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to our race. Okay, Tyler got Vamp 1. That was a Vamp 1.
All right, so very nice. And BMN got a little hung up there trying to get out of the water, but I don't know. I mean, it's just it. This is still anybody's race. I mean, it just really takes one big mistake. All right, so BMN has also got it. So they both pretty much
Very
went
nice.
for similar. So like there's probably maybe like what like three different ways of dealing with Vamp. Like there's two that I know of. One
You
of
mean the
which is
stinger
like you
trap?
go up front and then just spam. And then there's one where you line up against the door. But is there anything else?
I could always go for non-lethal as well, but that's that's way too slow. Um,
Yeah, that's probably more of the probably the higher difficulty strat, and plus you know, if there's anything I can credit to BMN when it comes to non-lethal vamp is he's got some really crazy tactics on how to do it. Like there's a like a coolant rise fast strat, which is on European Extreme, it's a death sentence if you miss it. But if you
yep.
get it, it's a really significant time save. But on VE, it doesn't really matter in the slightest because you just fire a few rounds into the water and Vamp goes down, sort of.
Yes. There's okay. So there's two ways you can do it. Either you shoot the water, or you shoot his body directly. Shooting his body directly is riskier because you need to aim directly at him. Whereas the water, you don't even have to aim at him. Just hit anywhere in the water as long as it's close enough to him. You're gonna do damage. Um,
Yeah, because the one
and then
concern I would have is like if you try to aim directly at him and you have to be careful about the iframes, is that if you fire one too soon, that it goes right through him and he
yeah, and
just goes right in.
you have to constantly adjust your shots because every time you shoot him with the stinger, he moves slightly left or right. So after every shot, you have to adjust. But if you just aim for the water, you don't have to adjust. You just have to time your shots. And then there's
Yeah.
also the safety strat that Limes found out, I think a few weeks ago. If you at the start of the battle, if you just go against the door behind you and then equip your stinger and shoot the water, then you don't have to
hmm
time anything. You can just spam as fast as you can, and it will always work.
Yeah, I mean, I think really at the end of the day, it just comes down to what's consistent and comfortable.
Yeah,
I
whatever you prefer, because it's only a few seconds.
Yeah, because I don't know what the numbers are on each one of those methods. I mean, I imagine there's probably I don't know advantages to one over the other, but honestly, it's just you know, if there's a method to the madness and it makes it work, I mean, just stick with it. I mean, don't fix what's broke, right? I mean, or what's not broke.
Mm.
But so now they're both making their way out of Shell 2 by trying to get Emma out, and you know, since we have no time to deal with Emma's fear of bugs, we're just gonna say, you know what, we're just gonna kind of forcefully guide you into the elevator, drag you over the bugs. You don't need the coolant spray, which is our multitask product of diffusing bombs, fire, and bugs. You know, that Glenn and I tried to pitch earlier. But it's because like the game will tell you to use the coolant spray to kind of like push the bugs out of the way so you can, you know, escort Emma through. But it's actually easier, if not faster, just to, you know, grab her from and just pull her to the elevator. I think they're probably both going to do the Emma bump.
I don't think Tyler did it in his previous one. He's
Let's
not
see.
doing it.
Oh, Tyler's not doing it. Interesting.
He
All right.
didn't
I
do it
think,
against race against US, so he doesn't want to
well,
do it
I
again.
guess, yeah, I guess to that race's point, I mean, depending on how much of a lead you have, I mean, you could probably just play it safe either way. But with this being this close, let's see if BMN's going to do it. And, oh, he's going to go for it.
Oh my
Oh, oh,
god.
jeez. Oh, wow, it actually worked. Oh, my God, dude. I was
That's a
scared for a second. That is as scary as it gets for an Emma bump. You kind of want to get her to like a line on the floor, and beyond it, like it's a safety measure. Because although it's been sworn up and down that Emma bump on PC is safe, that there is a very small chance that if you bump her into a part of the floor that's not safe, she clips through the floor and spawns into the ocean, and then guess what? Runs over. I mean, you're soft locked essentially.
Yep.
But man, that was some scary boy stuff.
I have a feeling if this was HDC, that would have soft locked.
Oh
It
my
was like
god, dude.
right
I
at
mean,
the center.
I know Limes is gonna hate me for saying this because I'm typically one of those that actually go for the Emma on HD collection. I just like doing it. But if I think if you did it in that exact spot, I would not be surprised if it's soft locked, honestly. And I've
I
had
mean,
some close calls with it before, but that was really, really close.
I did it in my HDC run versus plywood in an actual race.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I think Apache was commentating, and
Oh yeah, I
he
remember
was
that.
so
And Limes was like, "Oh man, what's he doing, man? I can't believe this." Yeah, because like I mean, I think they were just talking about that, and they're like, "Oh my god, we can't believe he went for it."
Mhm.
Oh, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of just like me and the swim glitch the other day. It's like if you wanted to increase the gap, that's one way of doing it. And and even with me going into that glitch the other day, it was only because I knew I had the buffer to at least make me comfortable to at least like make that call. But in this particular race, I don't know if I would have done it because it's just there's there's risk reward you have to consider on the fly as you're running, and it's one thing, it's like it's so easy to make these decisions, like as Platonic, myself, and I guess the rest of you watching from home are seeing this kind of like from a spectator's point of view on what's best. But when you're in the middle of a race and either where you are, where your competitor is, it's hard to make these decisions. Sometimes you make for it as a safety measure, as a gamble. Sometimes it's the wrong decision, but in the heat of the moment, it's just racing pressure does get to people. And unfortunately, I think it's happened a few times. And it's like, I've been there. So anytime somebody has something go wrong, I mean, it's not because, like they're not a competent runner or something. It's just, racing pressure is a real thing. And, especially like with Glenn and D Limes' race, I mean, you and I know, I mean, we've raced against D Limes and he's a good guy. I mean, he
Yeah,
acts
he's
nice and everything, and he is a good guy. I mean, seriously, but like in the race, I mean, he's a scary runner. I mean, he makes very little mistakes. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's really heavy on efficiency and optimization. And he's got
yeah,
pretty much all the tools in his belt with backups, and even backups for the backups if it's even needed. And when you're trying to deal with someone like that, I mean, it's kind of intimidating. And even if you realize that if it's neck and neck, I mean, sometimes just knowing, oh my God, he's like right behind me. And so it's like you kind of let that stress get to you.
yeah. The
But I
thing
mean,
about Limes is that he's just incredibly consistent. Even when he has a bad race, he knows that there's still a long way to go, and
hmm
that just keep to the same strats that he's used to.
and I guess
Usually carries him home.
one thing I was gonna say, and I think he'll enjoy this, is that he doesn't do the stupid shit that I do because I tend to get careless on my runs. I'll admit it. I did the D mic the other day because I was just trying to have fun, and then I mismenued it for 4 seconds, which lost me my 103, I think. And I was like, man, I don't know. I kind of went into it with like no regrets, but afterwards I was like, damn, I shouldn't have done the D mic. But I was like, I don't know, man. Sometimes you gotta have fun with doing this stuff. But I mean, with D Limes, I mean, he has fun, but I think it's kind of like like as like a professional, like he really buckles down on what he's doing. He knows, like what's coming up, and it's kind of just like, almost like an autopilot sometimes, right? Like he does this stuff so seamlessly, like it's almost even like you're watching like a task run at times, which that would be cool if that was actually a thing one day. Like a task
Hopefully,
run defusing like a strut B bomb without closing the door, or a
the
perfect
pixel perfect
Harrier, or even like something even crazier, like a 6-shot Harrier, like something like on Turbo.
or right
um,
side hold one.
oh my god, dude, there'd be so many crazy possibilities for a task run. But I don't know, really not much else going on here. I mean, we're like I said in the last race, we're trying to riff and make this as entertaining as possible. I mean, This is kind of one of the auto-scrolling sections that you really can't do much about. You can't speed it up. You can certainly slow it down. Don't clip the D mic. Um, but yeah, but primarily the thing here is just shooting all the ciphers as quickly as possible. You know, neutralizing all the guards. And the other important thing, and I think you've told me this early, or maybe it was D-Limes or somebody, it was that you don't want to put the scope on Emma, but the PSG-1. And the particular reason behind it is that it makes her fall over. Why, I
Yeah,
don't
which is,
know.
so I think the game, um, when you aim the scope towards her, the game will like uh, make Emma fall, and it's about 7 seconds of time loss every time she falls. So we found this position where, if you look at where the thermal goggles spawn, it's where BMN is standing right now, and I think Tyler as well. If you stand in that position and you don't zoom, she'll almost never fall. That's the perfect position to be in.
Yeah, it's just something about, position, the scope. Sometimes I think it's even the camera because I've actually had her fall while trying to pick up ammo in the past, which was because, and I think BMN and I tried messing with this, and it was something about facing away from Emma when picking up like the PSG-1T, like if it's on higher difficulty, versus facing her, and one would make her fall and the other one would not. All right, so they're both done with vamp. I don't know if they got a no zoom. I think
BMN
Tyler
did.
tried to, but I think he opted to zoom. Oh, did
He
BMN get a
he
no zoom?
zoomed. Yeah, BMN got it, but then Tyler missed the no zoom
Oh,
thing, and then he
ouch.
zoomed in and went for a headshot. Which on this
Yeah,
difficulty, a headshot is a one-shot kill on Vamp.
yeah, but still, I mean, this is still pretty tight.
Oh, Tyler doesn't
Oh
have enough.
no, he missed. Oh, he's gonna have to. Oh, and he's got the alerts. Oh, dude,
Oh,
this is golden for BMN right now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so not only did he run out of ammo with the AK, but his auto aim did not destroy the cipher at the start, and he got detected on top of it. Oh my goodness. Man,
1162.
this is gonna be another nail biter.
He got about 6 seconds or so from that bridge. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he's now just getting on the elevator as BMN is just now entering the shell. Oh my god. See that this is what the category is like. One mistake and it really does, really does make a big effect. I mean, I think this is gonna have to come down to probably all of Arsenal gear again, just like the last race.
I mean, it's a 6 second gap right now. If either of them mess up Jejunum where they fall down, I think that's 10 seconds of time loss. So if Tyler messes that up, we could see it completely change.
Yeah, I think it's
Solidus
like
has RNG as well.
it was
Um,
either a 10 and a half or 11. I mean, I don't know if my timing was accurate when it happened to me, but yeah, falling through the hole would definitely change things. But I don't know. I mean, it's gonna have to come down to Jejunum. Possibly, maybe not really Tengu 1. I mean, I think they're both pretty good at it, but Tengu 2 can make a slight difference depending on how efficient they are at killing the Tengus up on second level.
I'm
But
interested if anyone's going to feel the pressure and this comes down to IGT again.
I mean, I was just talking about this with Glenn. I think going forward with these runs being as close as they are, is it's probably gonna have to come down to IGT almost every time. Because I mean,
Probably
it's
on all the races.
I mean, our race is coming up, and I don't know what the hell's gonna happen, but it's just, it's like I think as the races kind of progress further, you're gonna notice some of these tendencies where it's like you're not gonna really see these significant gaps unless if something really bad happens, which, I mean, it can happen to anyone, but it's, not that far behind right now. I mean, right now Tyler's just getting up to his second Kodak, and BMN is just behind him. So I
Yeah,
think
that's.
he's gonna go for the cartwheel, which he got, and the jump. Oh, he fell
Oh!
through the hole! Oh no!
Oh!
Oh, dude, this is
Why,
big. All
why
right,
did I
so if
mention
BMN
that?
gets
I feel
this,
bad.
got the risky cartwheel. Oh my god, BMN, you're a lunatic. Oh
BMN's
my
in the
god,
lead.
dude.
BMN's in the lead.
Dude, this is crazy.
Oh my god, why did I
Wow.
mention that? I feel so bad for Tyler.
The caster's curse. Oh no, dude. See, this is what I'm talking about. Just like that, it changes leads.
I
Oh
think they're
my
like
god.
three, four
And
seconds
even
apart
BMN did
now.
a cartwheel leading up to the jump with hardly any space. God, that is crazy. Man, BMN, you gotta hold me here, cause I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Actually, I think they're like a second or two apart now.
Yeah, dude, this is it's neck and neck still. I mean, it was going in, and now it's neck and neck even more.
About a second and a half on the end of the rose call. Oh my god.
Yeah, fortunately for Tyler, he recovered as quickly as he did, but man, it's like anybody's game right now. I mean, one mistake is what determines this pacing at this point. Man, Roy was right. I do remember I gotta breathe. I mean, I'm literally on the edge of my seat. I don't know I don't know what's gonna happen. Best way my heart can't take this. Yeah, I am fully clenched up. Over it's like it's always something about Arsenal gear that just does this. Regardless of what difficulty it is, it just really is what kind of helps decide some runs here. So yeah, as you can see, they both had to swing the weapon once, which is part of a tutorial requirement. And then you just sit in the hallway for 45 seconds while being on the upper section. All right, so now coming up is going to be Tengu 1. So
I think
BMN's
BMN
going to,
goes for left side Tengu one, which is a little bit faster.
yeah, so he just went left. He did take a hit, but, a little unfortunate. And I think Tyler
They're both going for
also took a
left.
hit. Yeah, so they're both going for left. Let's see, so now BMN's going for the door, first try. And Tyler also first try. This is still pretty close.
So I think BMN is slightly in the lead, but Tengu 2 has a lot of variance. This could change
Mm-hmm.
after this fight.
Yeah, so I think he's ahead by maybe like 2.5, if I gauged it right. Maybe a little bit because of that menu Tyler to do at the last second. But yeah, this could be a decider here. I mean, as far as if it's either going to sync up or maybe gain one or the other a little bit of time. But I guess what they're trying to do here is line up a very carefully timed shot, which is meant to take out the Tengus as they spawn in. Um, there are some moments where you're going to have some of the middle Tengus, which are usually the swordsmen that kind of just slip by. Or even something like this where they kind of wait in the hallway, which ruins the timing. I absolutely find that annoying when that
Yeah.
happens. And I guess another variant is not only just your work on the Tengus, but Snake himself, because sometimes he can actually get hung up on a
Oh, BMN.
swordsman, and he's not killing enough Tengus on his end, which is requiring you to kind of like intervene and finish it off. And
Tyler's
Tyler,
done.
Tyler is done. Wow, so just like that, it shifted again. I mean, he's one dialogue line ahead of BMN.
This is
This
going to come
this
down to Solidus.
I think so. I mean, assuming either one doesn't mess up Rays, which I don't really see that happening. They're both pretty competent runners at this, but this this is gonna be this is gonna be a tight race down to Solidus. I mean, I think BMN knows how to parry. I think Tyler, I think he knows how to do it. I don't know if he will go for it. I think he realizes he's only just slightly ahead, so he may opt to just block. And I think BMN's gonna go for the parries. And we'll explain what the parries is once we get to Solidus. But man, dude, I am just sitting here. Suspense is building. I'm
What
sure
was
both of
interesting
these
is
guys are.
BMN's.
I'm sorry.
What
Go
was
ahead.
interesting about BMN's Tengu 2 fight is I noticed he turned around, and I think he thought the fight was almost over, so he wanted to go and deal with the right cards that Snake was going after.
Yeah,
I think he
I
ended up
think so.
losing
That
time
that
there.
might have been an oversight on maybe not making sure like the upstairs was cleared first. But I don't know, man. I mean, this is neck and neck. All right, so Tyler's up first. He's gonna shoot the middle one at the start, followed by the second. Gonna scooch out of the way so it doesn't get knocked over from the Ray jumping on stage. And oh my God, now it's tied. It's a okay, so he's still slightly ahead, but oh my gosh.
It's probably a second at most.
Oh my god, dude, this is insane. Patchy, it's like, yeah, if you're not awake, I mean, you should be by now. I mean, this is as tight as it gets. I mean, this is gonna have to come down to Solidus once again. I mean, like, kind of going in, I was like, man, I didn't really see Solidus like as the decider, but I think as you get further along, I think it kind of does. You know, if not the Harrier and Ames. Man, this is
It
absolute
could come down
crazy.
to cutscene codec mess ups because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it
Yeah,
was an Aki's race that where he messed up one codec call and you saw how tight that race was.
oh yeah. I mean, that was only by a couple seconds. Oh, but man, imagine if this tied and we get to see our first Tinker IL tiebreaker. But I don't want to try to say anything. But this is this is as intense as it gets. So I think if they know where each other is at, I say Tyler goes safe with the blocks in phase 2, and BMN goes for the parries. And so what I mean by the parries is in phase 2, Solidus tends to charge at you with preferably a quick elbow, or it's known as the people's elbow. And what you could do is instead of blocking with your sword, you can opt to either stab or slash just before he reaches you. You can get a quicker deflection rather than a block, and it'll actually throw Solidus off balance when you do that. Wow, dude,
Perfect
I,
phase
I
one
think this,
hit
I
both
think
of them.
I think this is sync, but Tyler I think is
I
maybe
know.
like a frame or two ahead. All right, so let's see. So they both have a short zip. All right, so BMN's gonna go for the dodge mechanic, while Tyler
Oh,
goes for the block. Oh my
oh,
god, dude! Oh,
BMN. Oh,
oh my god,
BMN.
BMN! Oh my god, he got it! Oh my
Oh,
god, dude! I never even considered he was gonna do the dodge strat.
they're
Oh
three
my
seconds
god, I
apart.
can't believe this. This has to come down
Oh,
to IGT again. Oh my
oh.
god, dude, this is crazy. What is happening?
Yeah,
All
this
right,
has to go
Roy.
down to IGP now.
What's the word, my man?
The word is we're going to IGT on this one as well.
Yep.
Polite reminder for the audience: if this turns out to be a tie, we do a tanker IL as a tiebreaker.
All right. Well, you heard it from the man himself, chat. I guess we're waiting for another 9 minutes.
Get
Oh
used to it.
man.
We're probably gonna do this on every race now.
Oh my god. I was in suspense the last time that I had to do this with Glenn, but now I got to do this again.
But probably gonna
Well.
happen in our race again as well.
Oh my god, dude, I don't even want to think about that right now. But I mean, it might as well. I mean, because like I said, I think the higher, like the further we get along in this tournament, the more these tiebreaker finishes we're gonna see. What if they're actual tiebreakers or not? But they're gonna be close. But man, dude, what a finish on Solidus. I mean, they both had almost like identical phase 2 starts with maybe Tyler like a frame or two ahead. I don't know, maybe my thing was behind by a bit, but man, I did not think about the dodge strat because that's another thing is you can either opt to block the elbow, you can parry it, or what BMN just demonstrated is that depending on which way he's charging from, you can actually bait him in with an elbow while basically moving around him and then flank him where he's exposed, which is kind of like a good in-between. You know, I think it's less risky than trying to do the parry because if you parry it wrong, you actually get hit, which was what happened to me yesterday. But oh my goodness, this is unreal. You know, borrowing that from Team Lives the other day, but this really is. I mean, because I think it was because I think you said BMN had continued the tanker, right?
Yeah, the engine room. He shot the Semtex.
Yeah. So yeah, he blew up the Semtex room. So that gave Tyler like a bit of a lead at the start of the plant. They both had perfect Harriers. Tyler, I think, had the better aims because I think his was
I think his was northeast.
northeast, and then BMN's was southeast, so it was like one spawn over, which not the end of the world, but yeah, it's just remarkable how this went from blowing up an engine room bomb with a tight finish. And we even saw this again yesterday with the race between Mac McD and Apache. And, Mac McD had a really unfortunate start to the Harrier and somehow dug deep. With just
with a one-shot Harrier, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing how sometimes these things can change at the flip of a hat. But it's just, my God.
Oh yeah, and Tyler also dropped down in Jejunum, so that kind of made up for the Harrier, I think.
Yeah, I mean that was, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I mean, I wouldn't want to say like that was the beginning of the end, but like I think that was what really made this as close as it was. Because
Sorry,
I
not
think
made up
if
for the Harrier, made up for the Continuum.
yeah, because I think if he made the jump and everything else played out exactly the same way, I think we would have gone to IGT anyway. But I think it would have favored Tyler more likely, because he had I think it was like 6-second lead going into Jejunum. And that ball made a difference
as well.
What's that?
He had the EF bridge as well, where he got the alert.
Oh yeah, the he ran out of ammo and it missed the first cipher. Yeah, it's just it's absolutely remarkable, like how little things like this add up, and I kind of said this in the last race and maybe in the beginning of this race, but it's what made me admire and gain respect for this category is that that some people might look at very easy and may not interpret it as a difficult category, but it's not the fact that alerts, kills, and rations, if you ever need to use one, is what really makes it seem simple, but it's all of these optimizations, these glitches, and all this stuff. That's what makes me respect it a lot. Like, it may not be nail-biting European Extreme big boss runs, but I mean, just look what happened here. I mean, it's just back and forth, and I'm just speechless at times on how close this gets.
Yeah, like a second on very easy is more valuable than a second on Euro. On Euro, you're just looking to survive just with the minimal amount of mistakes. On very easy, you need to be like laser focused from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And like I said, my wake-up call was getting kicked at the elevator going into B1 because I misinputted the crouch.
Yeah.
And the other one was the D mic, which I was doing that for the memes, which, yeah, that cost me way too much time because I couldn't menu it right. Oh, but all right. So apparently Tyler is opting out of the post-race commentary. I think he's got some. I think he's got family relatives over. So, but yeah. So GG's to him. And I think BMN. I think he's also opting out. I'm not sure. But I mean, they're just kind of talking it over in Discord. But I think, but either way, we're gonna have to wait and see what the final scorecards are gonna be to determine if, and it's a big if there's gonna be a tiebreaker tanker IL, which would be an absolute treat, personally, because
Reminder
I know
to both
there's
runners to mash at the end of this.
Yeah, mash for your life. Make sure you're tabbed in.
I've actually lost a second here before on a PV run.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Bad matching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely know how that feels to I think I did it on HD collection once where I was just kind of chilling and it's like, crap, I gotta mash back, I gotta hit X. Lost like a couple seconds. But yeah, because like I think a tanker IL tiebreaker would be an absolute treat because I know there's like a handful of us in MGSR that just like doing ILs, generally, especially for like something like tanker. And I hope for the best for these two that they don't want to have a tiebreaker because I could imagine how stressed out these two might be. Especially Tyler, because I know how focused and dedicated he is, and when things like this start to happen, I know sometimes it can get to him or not. But I don't know, a tanker IL would be cool, but for them, it's almost like, oh, I want this to be over.
The more I think about it, the more I think a tie is gonna happen. I think BMN started earlier on the feed on the stream.
Actually, I thought it was Tyler that started earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was close, but yeah, dude, this is gonna be another close one. So I think they're just, I don't know how much of the credits is left. I wasn't really looking at it, but I think there's maybe like, what, like a minute left?
I think we're getting to the end of it. Once I see
Yeah.
like the police knot stuff, I know it's towards the end.
Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. This kind of puts me in a good mood for our race coming up because I mean, this is absolute crazy. I kind of had a feeling going in that if I had to pick, that I felt like Tyler's experience could carry him through because I mean, you know, he's played on a GDQ stage, you know, hundreds of thousands watching. He's done lots of runs. He's speed ran for years. I mean, BMN's no slouch either. I mean, he's found a lot of optimizations and, you know, knows what he's doing when he puts his mind to it. But man, I did not expect it to be this close.
All right, here
Tell
we
you
go.
the truth. Alrighty, moment of
Mash.
truth. Don't forget to mash.
And click into the game as well.
Ooh. Yeah, tab in, mash. Mash like you never mashed before. Okay, so for BMN, we have 103.57 and
Wow.
Tyler 104.08. Oh
Oh,
my god, I can't believe this.
that's just like the other race.
Oh my god, dude. This is crazy.
That's an 11-second difference. So BMN goes through.
Yeah. I am honestly surprised. But man, dude, this was a close race and man, that's another one.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the time difference to be that large. I thought it was going to be a
Yeah,
few seconds
neither
apart.
did I.
I want to continue as well to get a 103. That's
Yeah,
a
that is
very good
really
run.
impressive. And I think it was Bestwick that posted the time even with the continue the other day. Where
Yeah.
it was hold 2.
Yep. I think it
Yeah,
was a
so
103
anything's
52.
possible if you dig deep and just try to play your game, play consistent, and don't buckle under pressure. And believe me, it's easier said than done.